All right, before you jump on this whole thing, this comment I think is a very genuine one. Audience member wants to make sense of what's going on with Xbox. And I've seen a lot of people conclude that Xbox is wanting to leave the console business or should leave the console business. But many of them have not necessarily considered the ramifications of what they're saying. Again, this audience member wants to have a genuine conversation. I don't think this is a console war thing. However, I think a lot of your presumptions are faulty, though. Because you said, I guess everyone sees things differently. You said, to me, Microsoft wants to get out of the console hardware business. This statement is not backed up by anything. If anything, every single person that's been talking from the Microsoft and Xbox side have been talking about their new hardware coming out. So for you to say that is antithetical to what the executives have said. Now, could the executives be lying? Sure. But I could also say you could be lying as well, right? But we have to go with what the intent actually is out there. And the news that AMD is more than likely going to be the company that's also going to be responsible for the components for this particular hardware. We've also heard news about handhelds. So again, why would you be positioning yourself to leave the console business and be talking about consoles? That's one thing. The second claim you made is Xbox sales already suck. Well, I say if I look at Xbox One console sales at 58 million units, I'm expecting Xbox Series to actually do about the same. I also expect 120 for the PlayStation 5. Do you think PlayStation 5 is going to do more than 120 units? 20 million units, sorry. We shall see. But I think it's going to be basically the same. People are going to pretty much be moving from the PS4 to the PS5. You said porting your games to PlayStation is only going to kill the Xbox console sales more. Why do you say so? What evidence do you have for that? You said, I know a lot of people that will never go to the PC. They just want to game on consoles. And console game sales back it up that people just want to game on consoles. You said, Xbox will not be a choice soon enough for console buyers. How do you know? You've made a claim about the future that you're not aware of. And then you said Microsoft is going the Sega route. Sony will make 30% of every sale of these games on PlayStation. You made a series of claims in this particular video. But the only one that we can even say we could give you is that Xbox console sales right now are trailing severely behind PlayStation's console sales. But it's not surprising seeing that their Xbox One generation, they didn't even have enough console sales. However, saying that Xbox will not be a choice soon enough and porting your games to PlayStation is one that's just weird because Xbox has been porting its games to PC for a very long time. So then I said, the evidence doesn't support you. And then you said, what evidence am I talking about? Xbox sales are down 30%. People don't want a PC. Talked about different games, and you say you see Microsoft as a Sega software only in the future. You don't know the future. I don't even need data to tell you that. No one knows the future. Sure, we can make trends. We can point out the trends. We can make hypotheses, and I'm sure you're making a hypothesis. But why would Xbox want to bounce from the hardware business when its most significant growth subscription service is tied to that hardware? If Xbox stops making consoles, they're going to lose a significant part of their business, which is their subscription. Do you not understand what you're basically saying that Xbox will do? You're basically saying that Xbox is going to fully exit the market. Xbox is not here to only depend on the console. However, the console complements its business strategy. Even PlayStation knew that. Everybody knows that. So PlayStation, when they wrote in their threat analysis that Microsoft can supply multi-game, they understood that Microsoft's ecosystem is made up of subscription, console, and PC. But in this case, console and subscription are tied together. Why would they want to drop console when if they drop console, they will then go ahead and just inadvertently drop subscription, of which subscription has been growing since it launched. Everybody is so fixated on 100 million users, but not many of them are looking and seeing that there is growth across the Xbox ecosystem for Game Pass. Even if you negate 2024's conversion from Gold to Game Pass, you still see significant growth happening. It's weird. It doesn't have like a specific, it doesn't have a specific rate of change, but it is growing. In the reports we're hearing, we're seeing growth from Game Pass numbers across the board. In fact, even now, we're seeing that cloud gaming is also gaining some more ground and some more interest, which is also partially tied to the box as well. The box is the centerpiece of Xbox's business as an entire whole. Everybody that is talking about Xbox positioning itself to abandon consoles, you're not factoring in that reality. In fact, if they want to abandon consoles, they cannot do so even in the next generation of consoles because they have to replace those 30 plus million users somewhere. And they're not getting it from PC because the amount of players that they already have, that they've already leveraged on PC, is part of their ecosystem, part of what it is that they're already leveraging. It's not PlayStation because there's only a certain number of PlayStation users that would get into their games, and they don't have Game Pass on PlayStation. They don't have Game Pass on Nintendo. They only have it on PC, of which PC's growth has been even much slower. So why would they leave console? It's almost the same as saying, and I know it sounds ridiculous, because PlayStation is publishing its games now on PC, it's positioning itself to leave the console business. That's just crazy. And you'll probably be like, that's insane. Why would PlayStation do that? It has 71 million consoles and all of its subscribers. It's the exact same thing with Xbox. It's the exact same thing with Xbox. Just because Xbox has not sold 70 million consoles doesn't mean that they're not able to run a business with 30 million consoles sold. They ran a business that sold only 58 million units in terms of their console sales when their competitor, PlayStation, was selling over 100 million units. And Nintendo came in 2017, years later, and still probably blazed past, Xbox. And Xbox is still here. So again, I think what it is it's just easy and convenient to jump to conclusions. And that's what it is. I see Microsoft as Sega software only in the future. That's fine. That's where the most money is made in the gaming industry. I can help think, but they're positioning themselves to get out of the console hardware business. I've supported Microsoft at work on Perm and on cloud for almost 20 years now. They will drop a product very quickly once the numbers are clear. It's a money loser, aka Xbox console hardware. You then said, just like Windows Phone got dumped and many other products they had. All these people talking about Windows Phone, I got to ask you, man, how many of you even use the Windows Phone number one? I got my Windows Phone. My wife and I, we had Windows phones and we kept them. They were nice. These Nokia phones that we had. But how many Windows phones actually did sell in the grand scheme of things? I looked it up. As of 2018, we got our Nokia phones way before 2018, right? I think I remember we got them in like 2013, 2014. Only 1.8 million devices. In 2018, only 1.8 million devices in the US were using a Windows phone. You can't say the same thing about an Xbox console. We're talking a factor of 15 to 20x. When you look at the Xbox One and you look at the Xbox Series consoles. So why would anybody even draw the similarity with the Windows Phone and the Xbox? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And hardware in the console space has never been a moneymaker. It's a subsidized piece of machinery that's used to pull people into the ecosystem. PlayStation sells hardware at loss, right? Now they've stopped selling the Pro. It didn't seem like they sold at loss because it just seemed like, you know, that one was really a more expensive SKU. So unless you can logically tell me how Xbox is going to replace all those users and the revenue that comes from them, then I may be able to see reason with you. But just saying it, that they're going to exit the hardware business without giving any way that they're going to go ahead and, you know, replace the income with software sales. How many software sales can they actually put out there to replace billions of dollars that's already basically coming in every single month? You know, you got to go make a game. Subscription, though, is kind of like the easiest money to make. Why would they go replace that for some kind of much more difficult money? Doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. I think what's happening is no one is thinking about this from, you know, the benefits and the logistic perspective. Everyone is just thinking that if you don't have 70 million units of your console sold, you're cooked. If that was the case, Xbox One generation was when they could have exited the business. So once again, I really am looking. In fact, I think I'm going to go ahead and put out. I need the person that can explain to me and anybody else from a business sense how Xbox can leave the console business and still remain as Xbox and replace the revenue that it currently is really its business is based on. Because that's another thing. People are like, well, they could just leave the console business and just go be selling software. How are they going to replace that revenue? How are they going to do it? Has anybody ever thought about that? Has anybody ever said anything about that? How are they going to replace the revenue of 30 million users? Yo, Game Pass by itself is bringing in $3 billion every year. That's not including game sales and game purchases that are made on the console and what they're bringing in every year from other third-party developers. I don't know, man. I guess I'm fascinated as to how we come up with these conclusions and none of us are actually looking at the ramifications. What you're saying is Xbox should just exit the entire gaming business. That's what you're saying. That's what's being insinuated here. That they're positioning themselves to leave the console business? No. Even with 10 million consoles sold, in the next generation, they can still be very fine. They can still literally be fine. Because yes, the software is a thing, but they cannot throw away a core base of consistent revenue. When games are being developed and games are not being launched or whatever it is, where is money going to be coming from? It's going to be coming from those areas. That's why Xbox is not Sega. Because they have the revenue stream of subscribers. And that's why PlayStation is not Take-Two. They have that stream of income with their subscribers that they actually make every single time. I guess that's the business. If there's any area that I've actually missed something, somebody please correct me in the comment section. Feel free to do so. Thanks for watching the video. Peace out.